204. 204. Both units clear. Negative contact.
7.
204, 1931.
103 over here.
203 headquarters. 10.
How you doing, sir? Didn't even know there was a house back there.
No, well, that's because she stole Dad's trimmers and battery packs and everything. I haven't been able to. Anyway, how's Jason been? It's been a long time.
That has been a long time. Where did I last see you at?
Might have been. You guys might have. Were you ever on the task force?
Mm-hmm.
It might have been in Strasbourg, getting ready to take somebody off. It was possibly you, Kale. I'm trying to think who else was over there.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long while.
Long while. So.
I know. There's a big property dispute. Is it everything gone through probate yet?
No.
Okay.
So, but the guns that she took this time, that's what I'm concerned about. There's my guns. She took all of them. So there is a whole handful that belong to me that are mine.
Okay.
That's why I'm so pissed this time. When I got here, she had kicked she knocked the panel out of the center of the door again. It's the second time she's done it. Left the door unlocked. Window was open. I know it was her because she threw all the shit all over the bedrooms. She took drawers out of the file cabinet. You know what? That's paperwork. Whatever. If that makes her feel good, fine. But when I got upstairs and I saw that she took all the guns and my guns, that's where I draw the line. I've tolerated a lot of shit. I've got, the last time she was up here, I was backed up against the door and I've got CPTSD, severe depression. You get in close, I can't do it. Look, I got cold chills right now because of thinking about it. I pushed her. Y'all, I called you guys. Consulted with the Commonwealth, no charges. Okay, but then her and my niece went on their own to get it. So that's already in courts. My next date, I just went Tuesday and Thursday of this week. My next date is the 26th. I get home from work, or get the dads from work today, and this is what I come to. I don't know.
Can you show me where the break-in happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
I drove right past this twice. I didn't see it back here.
Yeah. So what she did is she stole the head trimmers and the battery pack to Dad's mower and everything and the chainsaw, and then posted pictures on Facebook blaming me for letting it grow up. So this is a panel to the door that she knocked out and set it over here.
Okay.
That's the second time. Then of course she laid stuff down and went in there. You can see if you step in. She took pictures off the wall. I have no doubt it was her. No doubt whatsoever. Upstairs is where the gun cabinet was. She threw shit all around up here. I'll show you the bedroom in a minute. But she found every gun in the gun cabinet. That's the magazine to my Enfield. I think that's my Enfield. Let's see.
Okay, so do you have a list of the guns that were actually yours?
I can make a list.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Actually, this is to... So, this is why I didn't trust her. I knew... You see the bedrooms? You can't even open the door. If you look in there, you can see how she rummaged through everything. Same thing with this one.
So the house wasn't in this level of disarray before she got here?
No. No, as a matter of fact, it belongs to my niece, my oldest niece, who is coming up on the 11th to get to get her stuff.
And when did this get broken? When did you notice that?
I left for work this morning at about 8:30.
So how many guns are missing right now?
Brother, it's 2 Remington 1100s, 2 Ruger 1022s.
Do you have serial numbers for these guns?
That's going to be the difficulty, is I don't have, Remington 870.
Where'd you buy them?
Okay, so the Ruger 1022 was Dick's.
That's a while ago. Dick's doesn't sell guns anymore.
It was before Dad passed away, so it's been a couple years.
Okay.
Dad passed away in 2022.
Okay, so how many guns were actually yours that were taken?
Remington 1100, Harrison Richardson 20 gauge, 870, SKS, Enfield, Thompson Center contender with 2 barrels.
These are all the ones that you bought?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those are mine.
So, how many? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I'm counting.
Okay.
I'm in disarray, Jason. I
got you.
apologize. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying at least 10.
Okay.
Once I make a list, that it'll, once my thoughts are clear,
So why don't you do this? Because I can't just enter 10 random guns. I need stuff to identify them.
Right.
I'll put her down as a suspect, but obviously we'll have to go from there. But who owns the house currently?
So
is that the part that's in probate right now?
Right. So what had happened is,
but you live here.
My home is 376 Stonewall Street, but I stay here a lot to try and prevent her from doing what she did today.
Okay, so you don't live here full time?
No, I pay the bills. I pay the electric and water and all that.
Has she ever stayed here?
No.
You never stayed here?
My dad so here's the thing. My dad kicked her out before he died.
Okay.
He didn't want her here.
Yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of the story.
Okay.
I've been working when multiple officers have been here multiple times over the past several years between this specific issue.
Yeah.
So I'm aware.
So once I filed bankruptcy, I filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy in June. It included the house, so the house would go through probate, get sold, and the proceeds split between the two of us.
Okay.
She went in the end of August and filed for probate.
Okay.
All right. So it was kind of there was a hearing on the 3rd in federal court for bankruptcy, and my attorney wanted me, and this is another reason I think she did this. I had to get a real estate agent to come in to do evaluation, right? She posted all over Facebook about how she was pissed off that, she couldn't be told anything and stuff like that. I think this is just part of that anger coming out, and just to make life harder for me. So it's that valuation was supposed to be done within the next week or so. But now, of course, with all of this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But anyway.
How do you spell your first name?
Larry.
And what's your middle name?
Wayne.
And then Lineweaver?
Lineweaver. And Junior.
You're a junior?
Yeah. $259170.
And what's your physical address that's not this one?
376.
376?
Stonewall Street, Charlesburg, Virginia, 22657. She also stole TENS device that was mine that I bought.
What's a TENS device?
For pain. It's one of the electronic devices.
The muscle stimulator thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
She stole that. She still, when she took Dad's truck, I've still got personal belongings in it. I've got 2 pair of prescription sunglasses that I need to get.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not getting in the middle of all the property nonsense, because I don't know what's what. I don't know who belongs to what. And while all that's going in probate, it's subject to the bankruptcy nonsense. That's all civil.
Sure, I understand.
Police have no authority over civil matters.
I get that.
So what I'm going to do, what I need you to do is get me a list description, model numbers, serial numbers for these firearms, so that I can get them entered.
All right.
I can't do anything with "you stole my guns" if I don't have any way to identify them.
Right.
Okay. I can't even list them because there's a whole state police form that has to be filled out.
I know.
And I got to make sure that's entered correctly. Okay. So gather your thoughts, get that information, and get a hold of us, and I'll do that. Ultimately, right now, I'm just going to document it as a potential break and entering, and put her down as a suspect. Because of the civil matters and all the stuff that's pending, I'm going to have to consult the Commonwealth with this to see if they want to pursue charges on it. Okay.
Now,
I can't tell you what they will or won't do. I'm telling you there's enough gray that I'm not going to just go get warrants.
Sure.
Okay.
And I didn't expect you to.
I want to make sure that they're okay with the details to make sure that, we'll go from there.
Right. So, some of these guns I've had since I was in high school, like the SKS. I didn't keep the serial number for that.
Yeah, I gotta have serial numbers, man.
However, I personalized it by redoing the stock and everything. So, I mean...
Well, if you put an owner-applied mark or something on there, something I can identify it with,
right,
that'll work in lieu of a serial number.
Okay. And then the... man, this really sucks, being on this side of it. Because I've been on that side plenty of times. And saying a lot of what you're saying. What is a good way to research serial numbers for weapons that I haven't...
I don't know.
Because we're literally talking about thousands of dollars worth of...
Well, yeah, I know. Guns get rack up in price pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm aware. All thing I can tell you is when you have firearms, you're supposed to keep documented serial numbers. What I do, because I insure all my guns, whenever I buy one, I photograph it with the serial number, and I keep a separate file of that.
Right.
Because if somebody breaks in, I have to be able to tell the police what was stolen.
Sure.
So that's the way you're supposed to do it. I know most people don't do that. So
no, when we were growing up, we never.
Right.
I mean, you could go to the flea market and buy weapons. You
used to be able to buy them at Sears.
Yeah. So.
Can't anymore.
No, but I can provide and definitely give model numbers and stuff. I know you can't handle them, but. For what is mine.
The problem is if I found, a Remington 870, for example. Mm-hmm. Remington made more than one, right?
Right.
So I can't, even if we found a weapon that she pawned, I can't prove ownership without a serial number. Or maybe you applied like your social to it or something like that.
Right.
If that's something that we can identify it with, I can enter that. But I can't just enter Remington 870.
Right. But when it comes to evidentiary, I understand entering it, but with the totality of the circumstances, I'm not claiming that every gun that she took is mine.
Right.
I can specifically say this one.
That doesn't help me if you can't identify them. I need some way to identify them, and that's what serial numbers are for.
Right.
So without a serial number, even if she had a house full of guns, I can't do anything about it because I can't prove they're yours.
All right. So, what about something like petty larceny for the TENS device? As simple and stupid as that is,
I'd have to prove that she did it. Ultimately, investigation involved, interviews, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
This is something that I'm not going to do at the patrol level. Again, all this stuff being subject to probate and all that changes the game a little bit.
But when it's my personal property, that shouldn't be subject to probate, should it? I'm just curious.
I got to prove she stole it.
Right.
Right.
Well, the number of times she's broken in, she's entered the residence.
So why hasn't she been charged for breaking into the property?
You tell me.
You said the Commonwealth declined prosecution.
She declined prosecution for the physical, the assault and battery.
So.
She never made it in the house that day. They had me. I was backed up against the door.
Well, only thing I can tell you is I don't know anything about the previous situations.
Sure.
I'm dealing with today.
Right.
Because this is my first interaction with you involving this. I know the backstory. I know all the civil stuff associated with it because I've read the reports because I have to approve them.
Right.
So I'm familiar with the backstory. Again, I have to be able to, before I would charge anybody, I'm running all this through the Commonwealth because of the civil property issues. Because I don't know who has rights to the property. I have no way to say that.
Well, and of course we both do because it hasn't. And that I don't dispute at all.
And if you both have rights to the property, then she can't break into her own property. You understand that?
Right, but that doesn't absolve stealing, though. My personal property.
Right. It depends, and the argument would be, what's yours and what's not.
Right.
And that's not something I can get, and I can't decide whose property belongs to whom.
Right.
And you would have to provide receipts showing that you own the property yourself, and it wasn't a thing that was left to you by your dad.
Right.
That kind of thing. So it'd have to be something that you physically purchased on your own.
Yeah.
You would have to provide, the purchase, the serial number, and all that stuff, because you have to show that you own these things.
Yeah.
And right now, you can't even tell me a serial number, so I have no way to know that you actually own the things. And that's the problem.
But wouldn't they be registered to me, though?
Virginia's not a registration state. There's a record of a purchase wherever the FFL is that you purchased them from.
Right.
So if you remember where you bought them from, you can go get those records from the purchaser,
Right.
from the seller. I mean,
Unfortunately, I've been buying them since I was a teenager, so Rose's, where I got the SKS, is no longer in business. So
Right.
it makes it difficult.
I'm assuming you could probably maybe write a letter to the ATF and see if they can do a gun track to figure out where it was sold and give you that information. But I don't know that they provide that. Technically, that's a registry and that's illegal.
Right.
So I don't know of any way to track a serial number down if you didn't keep record of it. I know there's ways to do it at the Fed level through E-Trace, but they can only E-Trace it to the original purchaser, and that's federal. That's not something we have access to. So we can't do anything with it. Like, the only thing I can do is run the serial number and tell you if it's stolen.
Right.
That's it.
It's so frustrating because even from the very beginning, when I went down and I was paying and doing Dad's arrangements, was the first time she broke in, and it's just been.
Well, yeah, and the problem is you both have rights to the property, so it's not breaking and entering.
Right, but
I know it's frustrating and it's annoying if somebody keeps coming in and taking things. Ultimately, you guys are in a position where you got to fight it out in court.
Well, and that's where I thought we were going with it, and then she got pissed off.
Well, it's Angel. She gets pissed off because the temperature outside isn't the right temperature for her that day.
Right.
I've dealt with Angel for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a shame because she. Anyway, that's.
No, I get it. She can be disagreeable, but then again, we all can be.
Well, no, there's a difference between being disagreeable and then a 2-year onslaught of character assassination and everything else. All the shit she's got on Facebook.
Stuff you need to take up in court, man. We can't do anything with that.
But I'm just saying, from my standpoint of frustration and everything, it's not just normal. I've dealt with a lot, and I've let it ride. There's not one thing that I've ever posted about her. I haven't contacted her. I haven't done anything. I haven't even gone down to get my stuff out of the truck. That's my possessions. Mm-hmm. But to avoid confrontation, I haven't done it. And, then she, she's the victim.
We've all got those in our family. And they'll twist it to whatever degree they can and try to use whatever friendships or associations they think they have against everyone around them. I've been on the receiving side of that too. So I'm tracking. I understand it. I don't envy your position. It's an untenable one. But there's not a lot I can do with the property dispute stuff.
So let me ask you, if I do get serial numbers for a couple of the weapons,
mm-hmm. You still have to prove that they're yours and they're not part of the stuff that's under probate.
Well, yeah, because what I'm saying is that I bought. What does that do for? I mean, does it stay at patrol level, or does it go to investigations at that point, or what do we?
So it'll probably go to investigations because of the amount of legwork that goes into tracking the ownership, lineage, what the values are, what she's doing with them, how she acquired them. Like, there's a lot of face-to-face conversations that have to happen. That's beyond what we can do in patrol.
Right.
Because I can come, I can look, I can photograph initial stuff, take reports. If it's something simple, it's something that we can deal with relatively quickly.
Right.
But something like this is going to require a lot of follow-up and consultation back and forth with attorneys to make sure that we're making the right steps. And that's not something... With our schedule, you would not be pleased with how that would work out, because the way we work a couple days, we're off a couple days to come back.
I get
it's
it.
a pain.
Y'all work 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a pain.
I was just asking.
Yeah, it's something that would probably be assigned out.
Okay.
Just because it's because it requires more. It's got more moving parts than what patrol would normally handle.
Sure.
So what I would do is I would act essentially as a note taker at this point. I'm probably going to document this with a caveat that you'll have to provide a list of firearms and proof of ownership, and that's it. Because right now, I don't know what was stolen. I don't know the values of these things. I would need model numbers, serial numbers, all that fun stuff to be able to enter it properly. So I can't even enter anything stolen in the VSIN right now.
Right.
So that's the first place I'd start. As far as the B&E, that's why that answers your question why she's never been charged, because she can't break into a property she has rights to.
Oh, yeah, and I knew that. I was aware of that. What I'm talking about.
Well, I wasn't. That's why I asked you the question.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah, I knew the property was subject to like an argument when your dad died, that you two were kind of back and forth over who had controlling authority over what, and I knew that's what was going through court.
Right.
But I didn't know if you lived here and this was your residence, and because it's not, and that's why you guys both have rights to it, that's why she can't break into her own property. And that answers your question, why when you say she's broken in multiple times, why she hasn't been charged. Well, she can't break into your own property.
I mean, I live here, for the most part, but it's not technically. I mean, I get mail here and everything else, but my identification, everything else, registration is all.
It's in Strasbourg, right? Because this is the property that basically they're fighting over the value.
Yeah,
is what it boils down to.
Well, and that's really what for her. That's what it's all about. Is I took care of my dad while he was dying, and I slept in a nest in his bedroom on the floor. And it's so funny because she is the one that is old, poor, pitiful me. She wouldn't even. I'll tell you how petty she is. And I know you gotta go. She wouldn't let Dad smoke. I bought him $1,000 recliner. She wouldn't let him smoke in the living room because she said her asthma bothered her. But she smoked. So the time before this, I guess, the last carton of cigarettes I bought Dad was still sitting on top of the refrigerator. She took them. Dad, I've got pictures of sores on Dad's elbows from sitting at the wooden supper table on hard wooden chairs because she complained and bitched about it. She is just an awful, evil person, and it's so frustrating that legally she's scot-free basically.
Yeah.
Take my property. And she's been this way since we were kids. She would come in my room and take my stuff. And then when I go in her room to get my stuff back, she would holler and say, "Mom, Boo's in my room. He's taking my stuff." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm getting my own CDs." And that's been a lifetime of that. So it's just funny. And it's just funny that she's got more protection though, because of the missteps.
The civil side is where it gets, like, we by statute have no authority over civil matters.
Right.
Now the sheriff's office is different.
Right.
They have a civil service division that deals with that. So we don't. We literally, like, even if you guys get a court order and it says whatever, we can't enforce that.
Right.
You have to call the sheriff's office.
Sure.
Because literally, it's some weird delineation between, elected officials and sheriff's office authority versus municipal police. Like, we by code have certain things that we're not allowed to touch, and civil's one of them.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm aware, brother.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
Because we get called constantly about civil matters, and I always find myself in the position where I have to explain that I empathize with your position, but I feel kind of helpless because even by statute, if I could help you, I can't, because there's nothing legally I'm allowed to do.
Oh, I understand, bro.
It sucks.
I've had to explain that time and again, and I've worked for both. I've worked for a sheriff's office and worked for a town, so I get the dynamics. I really do, and I understand.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's just, it just doesn't seem right sometimes. And now I understand why, when I was giving those stories to people, why they were in such angst, and why they were so. Well, and
it gets you when you're on the other side of it, because I've been on both. As a civilian and both doing the job. When you're on the other side, you just feel like there's nothing in place to actually advocate for the victim in certain situations, but because the way the laws are written, it provides protections, in my opinion, in the wrong places.
Right.
But I gotta follow state code, man. So
Headquarters,
So look-
deal on
I'm bound by those rules.
Right.
I'm 10-4 headquarters.
Let me ask you this.
Certainly.
It's just a theoretical question. What if she were to commit a crime with one of the weapons that I had purchased, and let's say it's left at the scene? Then what becomes of that? What is the ramifications on my end?
Well, there's still, the whole crime scene thing, and they'll have to investigate that, and they'll have to determine how the weapon got there. But unless you were there with her with the weapon, I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
Okay. All right, because that was one of the first things that went through my mind is...
The problem is I'm going to put in a report that you're claiming approximately 10 weapons were stolen, but unknown makes, model, serial numbers. So that's a little bit of a problem as far as accountability, but Virginia doesn't have any rules that I'm aware of where you can be vicariously charged if she uses your firearm to do something.
Right. So let me ask you this, and I'm sorry to keep bombing you, but so I know you can't enter them as stolen without a serial number.
Correct.
If I give you a list, though, are you going to add that to the report?
There'll be a list of what you provide in the report, but I can't enter them as stolen.
I got you.
So if they popped up at a pawn shop
Yeah.
or somewhere they get sold, because Virginia, you can't do person-to-person sales anymore. They have to go through an FFL.
Right.
So if she were to sell them or something like that, I have no way of tracking them
Sure. I get it.
because there's, they're not entered.
Right.
And also, if she were to sell the exact firearms that you list without either a serial number or owner-applied mark that you can identify, I couldn't even say that those are your guns or the guns that you claim to be yours that she actually sold.
Right.
I have no way to prove that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I got the who, what, where, and when, right? Who did it? What did they do? Where? When? And then I have to establish ownership of these items and be able to identify them.
Sure.
And if I can't meet that criteria, it's not a lot to follow up on. I highly recommend in the future, if you purchase a firearm, take a photograph of it. Little 5x whatever business cards or index cards are cheap. Just write down what the serial number is and stick a photo right to it.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what I do.
Yep.
I have a full spreadsheet though, because I have a couple.
Yeah.
But I track everything because I'm also the firearms guy here for the department, so I track all of our department firearms, so I kind of got good at keeping lists of things, and now I do the same thing at home.
Right.
It's a good practice.
Oh yeah.
It's like when people get their bicycle stolen, 100% of every person that's ever had their bicycle stolen doesn't know the serial number to the bike. Right? But they all have serial numbers.
Right.
But nobody knows them.
No.
So it's one of those things where you gotta you gotta build some best practices around firearm ownership.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And there's some new case law and things coming down with what you're talking about leaving firearms and vicarious responsibility, but that's all still playing out in the courts. But nothing that I've seen work its way out here. That's all been at the federal level so far.
Right.
But at minimum, I'll document what you're telling me and go from there. If you come up with a way to identify these things, or at least some specific model numbers, write it down, give the PD call, one of us can come by and pick it up from you. Okay?
No, but I have to. So
I know it. Unfortunately, that's where we are at the moment. Sorry, I can't do more for you, man.
it is what it is, and she gets away with. I mean, it's just the shit that she has pulled.
Well, and the civil court process is not quick either.
No.
Like, you're going to deal with this for the next 3 to 5 years,
Probably. Or
if you're lucky.
the good thing with the bankruptcy though is they're chomping at the bit. They're pushing to get that more. But
Yeah, those
as a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to give up, man.
those discharges are usually pretty quick. For Chapter 7, I think, is quicker than 13. 13's restructuring.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do the Chapter 13, but I went in so much debt when I was taking care of Dad because I took off work, I took out a 401k loan to pay off all my debt and stuff like that, and then living off of credit cards. So and then my own mortgage got behind while I was taking care of him. I don't regret a minute of it.
Sure.
These are all things I couldn't give a shit. If this place burned down right now, it wouldn't bother me. And but I think it's to the point where I'm going to give up, because I can't. I don't have the energy to keep fighting the negativity. I've tried to stay positive, and I just don't have it in me anymore, man.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to end with on our family side, because I have a sister that's very very similar to Angel.
Really?
Very can be very vindictive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we live in different states, but my parents now live with them because they're getting to the point where they don't take care of each other very well.
Right.
So she married a really nice guy. He's very family oriented. They bought a bigger house, so they have a room for the in-laws.
Okay.
So my parents stay with them, which is good because I'm in the middle of trying to figure out where we're going to end up living, because I sold my place and
okay.
we I'm renting currently, and then the market did what it did. Now it's next impossible to purchase right now.
It is. Really, truly is.
Now we're just sitting there waiting. So I'm curious, and my parents aren't getting any younger. Mm-hmm. Their health is failing, and I'm not looking forward to being in a similar situation. But yeah. I'm sure it's coming to that, because some people get petty over the littlest things, and I'm not going to fight anybody over anything. If they get petty like that, I'm just going to walk away from all of it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's, but not for the bankruptcy and this being a part of it.
Headquarters 203.
I would have probably already walked away. It's just like her taking that truck. I'm the one that been paying on it. 2 years I've paid Truist. I've paid the truck note. She didn't pay a dime, but because of my parents left me without a will. Okay. If there's one thing I can give you is whatever you can do to convince your parents to leave a will.
I think they have one. I just don't know what the details are, because it's not a conversation that you normally have with your parents. But,
right.
I know they do have one. I just don't know what's in it. It's those situations definitely get hairy. I'm familiar with the probate side because my current wife had her husband, before she met me, actually died in a plane crash.
Oh my gosh.
So they didn't have wills or any of that. So she's been through the whole process of trying to fight for property between kids and everything else. So she said the process is quite the nightmare. And the last thing you want is the state to get involved, because it just drags things out even further.
Yeah, anytime the government gets involved in anything, it just kind of...
Oh yeah, we're the models of inefficiency.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Nope.
Yeah, you want to know how not to run things? Let the government do it.
Yep, absolutely. And and that's not even from like a sovereign citizen idea.
Oh no. That's just
like that.
That's just understanding basics. Like, It's funny. I tell this to people frequently because I've worked federal, state, and municipal, and if you ran a business the way government operates, the business would go out of business.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But because government doesn't produce anything tangible, they're not subject to market correction. Mm-hmm. So if you continually push a product that's terrible in the civilian world, and that product fails, you lose your job as a CEO. Mm-hmm. In the government, we don't produce anything. No. We're basically parasitic by nature. So if we don't do what the town or municipality wants, they just promote you out of that position so you're someone else's problem, and they put someone else in there to solve the problem. Yep. It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. When you know people that work in business and you understand how that's supposed to work, and then you go to the government side and you're like, this is the antithesis of how this is supposed to operate, and it's quite shocking.
It is, and there's so much apathy with the civilian population as far as voting and being involved and
we've allowed it to
educating
happen.
themselves. Yeah,
we've allowed it to happen. We've allowed it to happen because we would rather not be bothered. So we don't do our civic duty. What is the it's an old Peelian principle they used to teach in the academy. I don't know if you know who Sir Robert Peel is.
I've heard the name.
He's the father of modern policing. He actually started in the UK. They teach everybody in the academy, but it's one of his tenets was, and there's like a whole list of them, but it was civilians are the police, and police are civilians. With police being the only members of society being paid to give full-time attention to duties incumbent upon every citizen. So we've, unfortunately, as a citizenry, abdicated all of our responsibility, all authority the government
Yeah.
instead of taking responsibility for our surroundings.
Yeah.
And this is the world we live in now.
It is, and it's a tragedy because I've worked with guys. You know, I've sat in the patrol room and I talked to one of the guys I work with. I'm like, you know, I don't care who you vote for, but vote. Be active.
Yeah,
he
just
said,
be
I
active.
don't care. And I was like,
That's the young people nowadays.
I said, what about your kids?
Yeah.
And he was like, they'll be fine. I'm like, dude, you have no idea the legacy that you're leaving by not being
Yeah.
proactive, not making sure you're putting the right people in position. And society has lost the idea that it's a government of we the people, for the people, by the people. And it's, you know, whatever's in D.C., people are like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think people focus so much on the national
Yep.
and not enough on the local, because what's going to change the nonsense that we're watching at the national level is the local level.
Grassroots.
You got to start putting the right people in the local places and then building them up to get up there. But right now, it's funny, people come out for the national election. What's the voter turnout just in Warren County alone? What is it, like 8%?
Right.
It's so low. And it's the same, and it's our parents' generation that get out and vote.
Yeah.
And our generation, they'd rather be watching football.
And I've heard so many people say, well, my vote don't count. But what I try to convince them is, you feel that way, but then if millions of other people
Yeah.
have the same thought process, then you're basically acquiescent to whoever,
Yeah.
you know, does show up.
How does that saying go? The only thing evil needs to exist is for good people to do nothing.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I used to keep that on my clipboard
Yeah.
at work. And
I used to have on my CID door. It said every sinner has a past and every saint has a future, and that used to be on my door in my office in CID.
yeah, and it's, you know, it's so true. So
Kind of a reminder to not, because it's so easy in this world to adopt that us versus them mentality.
yeah,
And that was always a nice reminder to listen. Everybody puts their pants on the same way. We all didn't start where we are.
no,
Like this job and this world isn't about perfect people. It's about people who learn from their mistakes and better themselves.
absolutely. And I've said often that the best officers, to me, you know how the state police for a long time were hiring directly out of college, and
That's a mistake.
it's a huge mistake because a lot of those kids.
They don't have any life experience.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
that's my exact words. They
Yeah.
had no life experiences. They've never been punched in the face. They've never had, you know, had responsibilities. They've never been, you know, whatever for the most part. They've never had to deal with those tough conversations. When I was in the academy, we had